Have you ever found yourself sitting quietly, maybe in the early morning before the world wakes up, and thought, how did I get here? Not in regret, but in wonder, because after 70, time feels different. It no longer rushes by in a blur of to-do lists. Each moment feels like a quiet whisper, inviting you to listen. Maybe your hands don't move as fast. Maybe your bones remind you the years they've carried. But your soul, it grows stronger, wiser, more grounded. And with that wisdom come lessons. Lessons you couldn't have learned any sooner. Lessons that come not from books or lectures, but from living. Today, I want to share 6 life lessons that only truly bloom after 70. These aren't cliches. They're truths soaked in experience. Stories wrapped in years of laughter, heartbreak, forgiveness, and love. So, whether you're 70, 80, or simply curious about the beauty ahead, this is for you. Lesson 1. Slowing down is a strength. 1:25 to 3:35. There was a time when slowing down felt like falling behind. But after 70, we begin to realize slowing down isn't weakness. It's wisdom. Tom, a retired postman from rural England, lived a life of early mornings and long routes. Even after retiring, his body woke up at 5 a.m., itching for something to do. But then came the fall, minor, but enough to keep him inside for weeks. At first, he was frustrated, but slowly, things changed. He began to notice the light filtering through his kitchen window in the mornings. He listened to the clock ticking, birds outside, the kettle's soft whistle. And he told me, for the first time, I wasn't rushing through life. I was in it. Slowing down gave Tom a gift, presence. And in presence, we find peace. Lesson 2. You don't have to please everyone. When you spend decades taking care of others, raising children, supporting family, being the dependable one, it's easy to lose sight of yourself. Nancy, now 74, was the kind of woman who never said no. Hosting holidays, baking extra for the neighbors, agreeing to every request, even when her body begged her to rest. It wasn't until she missed her own doctor appointment, again, for someone else's needs, that she paused. Her daughter noticed and said gently, "Mom, it's okay to say no. You matter too." And in that moment, something unlocked. Nancy started setting small boundaries. She still gave, but from a place of joy, not obligation. "I thought people would be upset," she said, "but most respected me more." She even found new energy, less drained, more grounded. After 70, the truth becomes clear. You're allowed to choose you. And real love, it respects your no just as much as your yes. Lesson 3. Joy can be small and still be enough. We often imagine joy as fireworks, loud, dazzling, unforgettable. But after 70, joy softens. It becomes a quiet beauty in small things, like the smell of fresh laundry, a grandchild's hand wrapped around your finger, the first spoonful of soup on a rainy day. Harold, 82, was married to Grace for 51 years. When she passed, the silence in their home was almost unbearable. But Harold didn't turn away from the quiet. He leaned into it. He started walking to the same park bench every evening, just as they used to. He brought a small thermos of tea, and as the sun dipped below the trees, he whispered to Grace, "We're still here." One evening, a young mother sat beside him, her toddler climbing on her lap. Harold smiled and handed the child a biscuit. The mother said, "You remind me of my granddad. He passed last year." That moment, simple, human, was joy. Joy doesn't always come with music and lights. Sometimes it's just a quiet connection that says you're still part of this world. Lesson 4. Loss teaches you to love deeper. By the time we reach 70, most of us have experienced loss. Friends who've gone ahead, siblings, partners, sometimes even children. And yet, amidst that ache, our hearts stretch wider. Eleanor, now 79, lost her 2 closest friends, Martha and Joan, in the same year. At first, she withdrew. Coffee mornings became too quiet. But one day, while folding laundry, she found an old card from Martha. "You always made life feel lighter." Tears came, and then resolve. Eleanor started writing letters again. Real ones. To nieces. To old neighbors. Even to the nurse who always smiled at her appointments. Not long letters. Just kind words. Little reminders of connection. Loss, she said, taught me that love must move. It can't stay stuck in memory. It must flow. Loss, though painful, reminds us. Life is brief. Love loudly. Lesson 5. It's never too late to forgive. Regret is a heavy thing to carry. And when we get older, we often see things differently, including past hurts. George, now 76, hadn't spoken to his brother in over 2 decades. A fight over a small inheritance turned into silence. But after a heart scare, something shifted. One afternoon, George picked up the phone. His brother answered, surprised. There were no grand apologies, just simple words. How are you? And then laughter, then tears. Later, George told me, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing peace over pride. At 76, he found more relief in 5 minutes of honesty than in 25 years of silence. Forgiveness heals both hearts. And it's never, never too late. Lesson 6. You matter more than you know. As we age, the world around us often seems to forget. The spotlight shifts to the young. But don't let that fool you. Your voice, your wisdom, your story, it still matters. You're the keeper of family history. The calm presence in a noisy world. The example of how to endure. How to laugh through wrinkles. How to love through change. When little Lily asked Grandpa Tom what life was like before smartphones, she's not just being curious. She's asking, where do I come from? And when you answer, you become the bridge that connects generations. You are not just aging. You are rooting your family, your community, your world. Final reflection. So, which of these 6 lessons speaks to your soul today? Have you started noticing the small joys? Have you forgiven someone or yourself? Are you ready to set a boundary that honors your heart? I'd love for you to share your own lesson in the comments, because this channel isn't just about talking. It's about connecting. And every one of you carries wisdom worth sharing. If this video brought you peace or inspiration, I invite you to like, subscribe, and send to someone who might need it too. Until we meet again, may you walk gently, love deeply, and embrace every moment. Because the years ahead, they're still full of life. And so are you.